Sarah and Mark did everything right. They followed the blueprint, checked the boxes, and played by the rules. Both work in tech. They live in the tax-free paradise of Austin, Texas, and together, they finally hit the holy grail of adult life, the six-figure salary. They thought this was the finish line. They imagined the house with the white picket fence, the weekend trips to the coast, and a college fund that would grow quietly in the background for their new daughter. But it's 2026, and Sarah and Mark just realized they aren't at the finish line. They're on a treadmill that's speeding up. Despite that $100,000 paycheck, they're losing money every single month. They aren't living like rock stars. They aren't buying Rolexes or Porsches. They're being hunted by a new kind of shadow math. It's a math that turns a six-figure income into a survival wage the second you click a car seat into the back of an SUV. For their parents, $100,000 was the legacy salary. It was the "I've made it" number. It meant financial sovereignty. Today, in America's hype cities, $100,000 is just the new poverty line with better branding. They aren't building a dynasty. They are barely managing a deficit. I'm Cole, and if you stay with me a few minutes, I'm going to show you the one-way mirror calculation, the reason why even a $20,000 raise wouldn't actually rescue this family from the red. It sounds counterintuitive, but I'll show you the math that proves it. Today, we're going to perform a forensic audit on the family calculation. If you're like Sarah and Mark, you aren't failing. You're just a boiling frog in an expensive pot. Most people focus on the top line, the $100K, but in 2026, the middle-class dream has a hidden price tag that no one talks about until the first hospital bill or daycare invoice arrives. Let's look at the biggest leak in the bucket, the childcare ransom. In Austin, infant care has officially crossed $2,800 a month. That's over $33,000 a year. And here's the kicker, that is paid in cold, hard, after-tax dollars. Think about the real hourly wage here. If Sarah makes $60,000 of their total income, by the time Uncle Sam takes his cut and the insurance company takes theirs, Sarah is effectively working for the price of a fast food burrito per hour. She hasn't paid the rent, she hasn't bought a single diaper, and one-third of her entire take-home pay is gone before she even sits down at her desk. People call this investing in the child's social development, but let's call it what it is, a ransom. You are paying the equivalent of a second mortgage just for the permission to hold down a job. This is the dual income trap. You need both salaries to qualify for the house, but the second salary is entirely evaporated by the cost of being away from that house. You're chasing your own tail, and the tail is winning. This leads us to a concept I call the benefit trap. When you're single and 20-something, you pick the cheapest, catastrophic-only health plan. You're young, you're invincible. But when you have a kid, invincible goes out the window. Adding a child to a corporate gold plan in 2026 adds an average of $650 a month in premiums alone. That's $7,800 a year just to keep the lights on at the doctor's office. But it gets deeper. Sarah and Mark are in the middle-class no-man's land. They are too rich to qualify for any government subsidies or tax breaks, but they are too poor to actually afford the $6,000 family deductible. Every ear infection, every middle-of-the-night fever, and every just-in-case ER trip is a direct hit to their grocery budget. This is the tax bracket cliff. If Sarah and Mark work harder and get a $10,000 raise, you'd think they'd be $10,000 richer, right? Wrong. Between the jump in their effective tax rate and the phase-out of certain childcare credits, that $10,000 raise might only put $200 a month in their actual pocket. It's the one-way mirror. The number on the screen looks bigger, but the person in the mirror is still broke. Now let's talk about the location trap. Sarah and Mark moved to Texas because they heard the siren song of no state income tax. But a family doesn't live in a state. A family lives in a zip code. That cool one-bedroom industrial loft in the city center doesn't work when there are toys on every square inch of the floor. You need the family zip code, the one with the 8 out of 10 school rating and a park that isn't a biohazard. In 2026, the gap between a safe school district and a struggling one is a $1,500 monthly premium. To get a basic 3-bedroom home near good schools, Sarah and Mark are shelling out $3,500 a month. Here is the Cole calculation secret. In a tax-free zone like Texas, the state doesn't take your income. The landlord and the school district do through property tax pass-throughs. Your rent is just your income tax with a different name on the envelope. It's been rebranded to make you feel like you're winning, while your bank account tells a different story. Let's look at the variable that truly kills the American dream: opportunity cost. Because Sarah and Mark are staring at a monthly deficit, they've made the logical choice to stop contributing to their 401ks. They tell themselves, it's just a season, we'll start again when the kids are in public school. This is the retirement mirage. If they miss just 5 years of investing $1,000 a month during their 30s, assuming a 7% return, they're not just missing $60,000. Over 30 years, they're missing $450,000 in future wealth. By trying to survive the present, they're effectively setting fire to their future. Let's look at the Cole calculation for their month. Gross income, $8,333. Taxes, FICA and federal, minus $1,950. Rent, the safe zone, minus $3,500. Daycare, the ransom, minus $2,800. Insurance premium, minus $650. Running total, $8,900. They are $600 in the red before they've bought a single gallon of milk or a gallon of gas. Add $1,200 for food and life essentials, and their true deficit is minus $1,800. Every month, they are digging a hole that they hope a future promotion will fill. This is the milestone gap. We are the first generation of high earners forced to choose between our children's present and our own dignity in old age. We aren't lazy, we are mathematically literate. When a child costs $350,000 to raise to age 18, and you're starting with a 6-figure salary that's already maxed out, you do the only thing you can. You delay. You delay the house, the second child, and the life you were promised. So what's the exit? Sarah and Mark didn't wait for a raise. They realized that a 5% raise wouldn't even cover the inflation on their grocery bill. They chose Geographic Arbitrage. They moved 90 minutes away to a Tier 3 town. Their income stayed the same via remote work, but the math flipped. Daycare dropped to $1,000, rent hit $1,800. Suddenly, they had $3,500 in monthly margin. They stopped being city poor and started being suburban wealthy. Or better yet, they accessed the grandparent subsidy, moving closer to family who could provide the care that no $100,000 salary can buy. True wealth in 2026 isn't a 6-figure salary, it's low fixed costs. If you're feeling the squeeze, stop looking at your paycheck and start looking at your zip code. The math doesn't have feelings, it only cares about the remainder. I'm Cole. I'll see you in the next calculation.